Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna continue on with a Spreadshock exploration. Well, we're gonna learn how to create this kind of structure. This is actually pretty simple. This is basically just like a number 0 and 1, but being duplicated along edge, and that's I was actually kind of surprised by the result myself. This is quite organic in itself. It looks very architectural, or sometimes it looks like a graphic design kind of work. And we have like kind of unlimited variations, and I have full control over the design itself, like how many 0 and how many 1. And this is basically just like a bunch of numbers in 3D space, but they have certain arrangement and structure in it, even though sometimes they're overlapping. But still, this is quite interesting thing to explore, and I want to share it with you. So I actually started with these two objects here in the middle. That's the master. If I adjust the scale, of course they're gonna update accordingly. Okay, so let's get started. File, save as. This is a 0, 1. Compositing, Spreadshock. Let's start with a simple basic one. We're gonna have text. I'm gonna maybe change the font as well to make it a little bit more interesting. So fonts, Titan 1. This font is a little bit fatter. Maybe actually Fredoka. That's better. Okay, we can work with this. So I have two fonts, 0 and 1, and I might need to center it out first. Center, and then the alignment, actually, let's just offset it vertically until it's centered. Same with this guy. So this 0 and 1, just like for example, it's nice to see like a 0 and 1 sometimes. Objects in, get selection, and display it using Spreadshock. Right away we can see the two texts being displayed. They all have this they both have these triangulations happening. We can actually clean that up, but don't worry about that for this one. So we can have 0 and 1, and I'll show you a little trick here. I'm gonna use a line as the matrix transformations for the duplication. First of all, this is what you're gonna get. Okay, you're gonna get like 0 and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's because the way Spreadshock works is kind of like doing the filling of the data. Currently, we only have two text data, 0 and 1. If you want to have like the data 0 and data 1 being multiplied randomly along the lines, it's actually quite easy. If you know the trick, we can simply use list item. Okay, list item, I'll show you first. We have two objects coming in through objects in, right? Two text objects, and then this is the vertices data and this is the polygon data. And they both can go into the output. But if we currently it doesn't really work. But if we want this to work, we need to switch this to level 1. So now we have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, we don't have number 1. Let's create like an integer input, and by using the integer input, we can actually kind of decide it, okay, which data you want to pipe in for Spreadshock. Okay, 0 or 1. Let's hide the master for now. in two different layers. So now we have 1 1 1 1 and then 0 0 0 0. It's easy and that's simple. What's cool about Spreadchalk is currently we have, okay, I make it 10 points of the line, and for each points of the line we get duplications. What's really cool is this: if you provide a random number generator and plug this guy into the list item, providing we have the correct data. See, I use stethoscope and make sure the low and high number is 0 and 1, so we have like 0 1 1 0 1. That's actually something that we can simply plug into the list item, index item, and then there you go, we get the result. Because we have 10 transformational data for the duplications, and then we have also 10 number being generated on the fly. And because of that, we can simply use the same input for the size and the number of vertices in this guy. Cool. So that's the first trick. You probably already know that. Of course, we don't need to use line. We can use anything like maybe plane. And for the plane, let's say like have 100 points, plug into the locations. Now we have 100 points, but we only have 35 random numbers, so we need 100, and then now we have the result. It's really that simple. If I hide the grid real quick, now it's very, very clear what's going on. Just 100 points each for the position of the number, and we have this random 0 and 1, and they just work. So that's really cool. What can we do next? Remember the last node that I was talking about in my live noding? It's object duplications along edge. So this node is really powerful because it's like an array and a curve. You just simply provide any kind of line edge data into the into this R recipient, and then plug in any data to the top, and we're gonna get them simply being duplicated. Okay, so let's actually do that. Remember that we duplicate objects along edge. We gonna let me hide. Let me draw something. So if we provide some kind of data like a line data, duplicate objects gonna duplicate the objects the in between. It's not gonna duplicate the objects on the point. So keep that in mind for now. So I will generate the line first of all. I'll create a line and then a viewer, plug it in, give it a different colors for clarity. So that's a line, and we just gonna use the vector noise again, and we have this kind of random looking lines. But if we change the step to a smaller value like 0.05, we're gonna have this nice tracing of like a wiggle, vector wiggle. Okay, so let's have like 100 of them for now. The next thing we can do is, of course, maybe use vector math here to scale this line, multiply it by scalar, so we can scale it. Now if we use this duplicate objects along edge, we're gonna have an instance of objects in between of the points just at the edge. So let's do that right away. So this is our line, and change the count to 1, and this is going to be our object. And we need to output this data, so vertices and polygon and the matrix. Now we can show it. Okay, that seems to be working. Let's change the color to green, maybe. Currently they seem like a little bit over the place. Let's fix that in a bit. We have 100. Okay, 100 numbers and we have 100 lines. Okay, we actually probably only needs 99 random value. Scalar, make it 10. They seem to be a little bit stretched somehow. Maybe that's the way duplicate objects along edge kind of work. Unless I turn off apply matrices. But we can see along this line, we can see 0 and 1 being duplicated. They're touching each other at the moment. Maybe we want a little bit of padding. So that's a little bit nicer. So this is a 0, 1, node 3. We can, at this stage, we can start to play around with the number. Like, let's say, have an integer input. I just plug in that guy into that guy, so we can have like 300, for example. There you go. That's our results. You probably remember older live noding. That's kind of like the same idea, but back then we were using curve modifier and also array modifier, and this is like all done inside Spreadshop. That's really powerful. You can have like a multiple number here if you want. So I increase the number to 3, so now we're gonna have like 0, 0, 0 and then 1, 1, 1. That's if that's what you want. So that kind of pattern happenings, I think it's really cool. And if you change the noise from standard Perlin, let's say I like using cell noise actually these days. Cell noise give you like a little bit of like a surprise. It totally breaks the structure. It still have some kind of structure, but it's kind of very kind of what do you call it, angular somewhat. If I change the directions, maybe I get a different kind of look. I'm gonna reduce this count as well. So yeah, that's starting to look very interesting. Maybe reduce this scaling. Yeah, I think they're looking cool. We can do one more thing with a bmesh. Just view it as a bmesh, so we have like a real objects. With the real objects, we can then use Blender modifier and things like that. Make sure you turn on merge, otherwise it's gonna output a lot of objects. This guy. Polygon face. And the matrix. Turn off this guy, so we already have a result. How many objects we have? okay, really, it's 300. We can randomize the seed for different result. Is it working? Oh, okay, actually it's working, but it's this guy, vector noise, that we need to change this seed. I will use frame. Frame info plug into the seed. And now whenever I scrub the line, it's gonna generate a new design. There you go, that's the plan. What else can we do here? 2. You can always go back to the text and then get a different result actually. Let's try smaller value, different value of this line. So if I turn on the matcap with this guy, I could actually I can use solidify, or because they are actually a real data, you can use things like decimate maybe, or remesh even. Let's try decimate. So that's giving you that's like super abstract result right there. Just triangles. I just increase the number here, and then let's see. Okay, that's not super interesting. Let's increase the ratio. So I don't know, maybe this decimate is not a good one to use. You can use wireframe modifier. Wireframe usually pretty fast. Okay, we get this kind of some mess. Maybe turn off even thickness. Yeah, I think that's really nice. Very nice. We just leave it like this, I guess. Simpler. So there you go. That's the kind of design that I showed you earlier. It's basically just two numbers, 0 and 1, being duplicated along edge that's being disturbed by cell noise. They look kind of like a building as well. Really, in reality, you don't need to use 0 and 1. If you really want, you can just use a different shape of objects, like a plane or circle or triangles or whatever. Yeah, so that's basically it for this live noding. It's just another kind of quick trick you can do inside SphereChalk, and using just a bunch of nodes, we get this kind of a procedural setup. Thanks again for tuning in. I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for, if you have any questions, suggestions, just ask me down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.